And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. All right, welcome everybody to episode 2 of Chatty Gratty. As always, I am Chatty Gratty. I hope you guys are doing well this evening, and I hope you guys are excited for a nice support episode. Tonight, we have a nice guest lineup and a super special co host that pulled up. He's gonna be losing sleep for us, so I hope you guys appreciate him as much as I appreciate him. But all right, without further ado, let's welcome our first guest. She has an unhealthy fascination, I should say, with bunnies. She's always boinking around in the predecessor queues. I'm sure you've seen her in your games. We have Boinks. Let's go, boys. Woo! Welcome on the show, Boinks. We're happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Let me turn you up a little bit. Let me turn you up. Let me turn you up. We gotta get your beautiful
Sorry,
voice
I'm,
for
I'm, I'm
everybody.
talking quiet.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Boinks. Do you have anybody you would like to shout out or any shout outs you want to give before we get the show rolling? Get the next guest going?
Uh, Nobody off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, nobody off the top of my head. I hope you are very happy to get shouted out. All right.
Yeah.
Now, our next guest. He's a Richter fiend. He's an angry man. He might be a little bit bald, but he's still handsome nonetheless. We have Sakep. Woo! Let's go, Sakep!
Hey, what
Woo! Sakep! Let's
up?
go.
How you
thanks for
doing? Wow,
thanks
what
for
a what an
joining
introduction.
us. Thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
Southcap. Happy to have you on the show. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out or any shout outs you want to give before we get on to the next guest?
Uh, nope, no, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, and then our
Hey,
next
I'll shout you out. Twitch.tv/Gratty.
Oh
Okay,
my god, thank you so much.
for
All
having
right.
me on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for coming. All right, our next guest, he's the bread man. He only plays Muriel. Don't catch him playing any other character cuz he's just not doing it. If you ask him to shield you, he'll tell you to go fuck yourself. We have Toasty, the Toast Man. Let's go, Toasty. How are you doing today, Toasty?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
I'm sure you guys remember Toasty as our previous co-host from last week, but now he is returning as a guest on the show as a support. Thanks for coming, Toasty. Any shout-outs you'd like to give before we move on to our very special, handsome co-host?
Shout out to Lake Nader for being so bad at ADC, making me look so good when I carry him every time.
Valid. So valid. All right. Last but not least, he's not a guest, but he's a co-host. He pulled up when I needed him the most. I appreciate him so much. He's handsome. He has beautiful, soft lips. He is American, but he's in EU right
Mm-mm.
now. I'm sure you guys know and love him just as much as I do. It's Wangle. Wangle.
Woo!
Yeah, the Wangler. He's not a
Hello.
support, but he is here to help me wrangle
I'm
the
not a
supports
support,
together.
but I'm supporting Gratty tonight, and
L-
that's what counts.
let's go. That's all I can ask for. But alright. Anyway, let me go ahead and cut the music. We're through with the introductions. Now we can go ahead and get on into all the questions. And this time, I'm trying to change things up a little bit. I actually have an actual gameplay video to play so you guys are not just looking at screens that are just barren. But anyway, while we are talking, wait, I wonder if I should have the Discord on too. I'll just leave the gameplay up for now. But I also should have something that says Chatty Gratty because then people don't know what we're doing. But anyway, I'll start working on that. Let's start jumping into the questions. All right, so we're going to start with Boinks. So, Boinks, who is your favorite character to play? And also, who do you think your best character is?
Swear to God, if you say Morgash.
I'm not gonna say Morgosh. But no, my favorite character is it it's like a tie between favorite Muriel and FaZe, honestly. But I think I play FaZe better. So I'd say FaZe is like my favorite character.
All right, so we got a phase gamer And you said your top two are you said FaZe and was it Muriel?
Hmm.
Valid, valid. All
I
right.
guess
Well,
you could throw Belica in there too, but top three.
sorry everybody. I know it looks jank. And also, if Joe yours truly is here, thank you for unconsentingly letting me borrow your content. It's out there for me to see. You gotta teach people a thing or two. You know what I'm saying? All right. So
Don't copyright claim my boy. He's innocent.
anyway, moving on to Mr. Sockcap. Same question goes to you. Who is your favorite character, and also who do you think your best character is?
I would say Richter, and
Of
then
course.
as far as supports go, after that I like playing Decker and Belica. So I just like playing engaged supports
S-
typically.
So would you say Richter is your favorite or your best?
Yeah. Oh yeah, both. I think.
Both. Okay, and then after that you
Yeah.
say Decker and Belica.
Yeah.
So very aggressive play style you have.
That's why I'm always
That's valid. All right. Moving on to the Toast Man. I'm sure we already know the answers here, but just like with Sockcap, we're gonna ask you anyway. Who is your favorite support, and also who would you say that your best support character is?
It's Muriel and Muriel. Pretty
Muriel,
easy. No
and
hand. No question. Hands down.
okay, and then that's what you carry Lakeinator with is Muriel all the time.
I carry Lakin with everything, but I carry hardest with Muriel.
Fair enough. All right.
Muriel's the 1v9 character.
All right. Do you have a question you would like to ask them, Wingle?
I think we can just get into kind of the broader, more general questions here. Something like, God, I'm struggling here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, what made you guys want to play support in the first place? Because a lot of people that play these types of games, would say that like supports might be one of the least influential roles. Like you're there, your main focus is to get your carry, fed so that they can go and win the game. But like, you know, a lot of people discount supports. So what makes you guys get drawn to the role is the real question.
Are you asking someone specifically?
Yeah. Who do you want to start with? We can
Uh,
start with Sockcap. You can take it away.
let's start with Sockcap, the
mad.
Giga
Well,
Chad.
I think you touched up on it when you said the goal of the role is to get your carry fed. I feel like a lot of people play the role with the mindset that support's supposed to like keep your carry safe or like your team safe. But I feel like that's a secondary job support. I feel like you're kind of a secondary jungler in some sense, or your main focus is to create openings for your carry to get fed and get resources and then be able to carry the game. And whether or not that's your ADC or that's somebody else on your team, if your ADC is useless, you make those calls yourself. But I just like the role itself as just kind of trying to focus on your teammates and try to propel one of them into a state where they can hard carry the game. So that's basically
Yeah,
it.
and I guess that makes a bit more sense from the type of characters that you play being a lot of engaged supports where you're the one going and creating a ton of openings for your team to do things. However, Boinks, I'd like to go over to you as someone that plays a lot of enchanters that really is seen as kind of like the back burner, like a Muriel or FaZe, where there's not too much. Like you have the phase pull or like a bunch of shields to like keep your carries alive. What's like your pull to the role?
Um, I guess like for me, because I mean I come from like MMOs in the background, so like I play like a lot of supports in those games. But initially I started as like a mid laner, like playing Smite and crap, and I don't know, I just have fun playing mages in general. But when I tried the supports in this game, it felt a lot different from I guess Smite characters, because in Smite like you kind of have to like play a certain way or whatever as a support. Like, you always have to build tank and be a tank for your team, but in this game, like, you can actually, like, be, you could build whatever the fuck you want as an enchanter. I don't know. I'm terrible at explaining. Sorry.
Nah, that makes sense. Like
It's
you're
more so like I like to be. I love utility in games, and I like providing utility, and enchanters typically, do that. Like, I'm not usually the main fucking character, but I'm the one like boosting you. Like, I love to enhance people's like gameplay, I guess. It's the best way to put it.
So would you say kind of like maybe like an Ana in Overwatch for people that have played Overwatch? Would you say that kind of
Yeah,
play style?
yeah. Something like Anna, yeah.
That's valid.
something like an Ana where you're never gonna get play of the game, but you're always the one at the bottom getting all the assists popping up.
Hmm.
Nice, nice. And Toasty, what about you?
I play support because I suck at everything else. No,
I
no. I
don't
just
know,
like
man. I've seen your Grux before.
it's pretty next level.
It is.
But I just like to play supporting characters. 'Cause I like to help my friends. I usually only play a supporty role in MOBAs. Like when I first started playing this game, I played with Lakin, and we're best friends or whatever. So I just went where he went, and he wanted to play ADC because he has a huge ego. And I'm like, I'll just chill in the back, you know, play that Muriel.
It's valid. Someone's
That's
got to be
fair.
behind him, making him look good, while his ego's just bringing him
Yeah,
up.
it's super hard.
All right, well, we'll move on to our next question, and we're gonna let Toasty start with this one. So, Toasty, what character do you think has the best carry potential in your role? And I know before you guys, jump on me, supports actually can carry games. Believe it or not, supports can carry games. So, Toasty, who do you think has the best carry potential in support role?
Probably Decker, with Decker's survivability, mobility, and easy ganks. She can really have a lot of presence around the map. But I think Muriel is actually making a pretty strong showing with uh, alting the off lane off cooldown and tilting the off laner because that's free XP every day.
So you'd say Decker and Muriel. If you had to pick one of the two, which one would
Decker,
probably be better? Decker for sure. Okay, and then Muriel's a close second for you.
yeah, sure.
All right, and we'll go with Boinks for the next one. What character do you think has the best carry potential in the support role, in your opinion?
Honestly, I agree. It's Decker, but for my second pick, it would come down to like Steel because of his whole fucking like team fight potential. That guy
Okay.
is just a fucking disgusting character.
So number one carry between the two of you is still Decker, but Steel is your close second in that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then finally, last but not least, Sock Cap. What character do you think
Uh,
has the most carry potential in the support role?
I think right now, I think Narbash
Narbash,
gonna definitely.
Ooh.
interesting. Yeah, that's a big ooh. What makes you
I think
think
he's.
Narbash?
Well, I think he's stayed pretty consistently strong uh, over the last few patches and has like the highest. I don't know if he still has the highest win rate, but for many, many, many patches, he just had the highest win rate in general, just across the board out of any character. But I just think that the massive AOE heal is pretty gross in team fights. I think the last game that I played with him, I remember when I looked at the damage healed or the healing done, it was like 37k, and the enemy ADC had like 28k damage. So I mean, like completely negating like an entire champ's damage essentially.
So that's
With
it,
that, of course, that's spread over like 5 people, right? At least,
right?
but still, it's quite a lot of healing. I think it's kind of a little bit way too much in my opinion. So I think it needs to be nerfed.
So we got a little bit of a different answer there. So we got Toasty and Boinks that both think the engage and annoyance potential of the Decker plus all the utility that she brings, how aggressive she could be. She's the one that's carrying games. But Sockcap thinks that mitigating an entire character's damage on the enemy team is enough to carry from the support role. So Narbash is his pick there. That's very interesting. So I'm glad that we got some different perspective there. All right.
If I have a small question about that, considering that none of you listed Narbash as like your favorite or best character to play. And I don't personally know that many high elo support players that are like, yes, I love playing Narbash. Do you think that there's any specific reason that he's like maybe undervalued or underpicked or even just underloved? And anyone can jump in here, and if none of you have anything to say, then we'll move on. But
Well, I'd say Narbash is definitely my second favorite support to play. But I think a lot of people don't play him is because he's kind of a one track. You just kind of stand there and heal people. Once you hit ults down and your thunks down, you literally don't do anything. You're just like a heal bot. And a lot of people might not find that as entertaining as playing like a Decker and getting those sweet stun balls from across the map.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think really the main reason why people don't play him more is just because he's boring. Like, just if you do have good engage on him, dunk into R, but once that's down, like Toasty said, you're just there for your E. So it can be kind of boring. And laning can kind of be boring with him too. So
That's absolutely valid. Thanks for the question, Wangle. Before you move on to your next question, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit them with one more question. All right, if that's cool with you.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a pretty easy one, but I hope we get some interesting answers here. And we're gonna start with Boinks this time. So Boinks, what is your favorite item to build as a support and why?
Well, that's a good one. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people like the item. I'm not sure. I don't really pay attention to what other people like. But for me right now, it's crystal tier. I don't know. I just like what it provides. I like the power and the ability haste you give to people.
Crystal tier.
Yeah.
That's a really, really interesting one. I did not expect that at all. So, all right. Well, crystal tier, favorite item for Boinks. That's very nice. All right, Mr. Sockcap, what is your favorite item and why as a support?
uh, item not crest
It can be a crest.
or
That's fine.
I'd say rift blockers.
Riftwalkers.
Yeah, this is fun. It's fun with like almost any character. It's just fun with a stun. Like we do it on Bellica, like rift blockers into like a multi-man Q, or with Decker rift walkers into like a multi-man ult. Like any of that stuff is a lot of fun. So that's definitely my favorite crest. I actually say either Crystal Tears or Requiem if we're talking about items too. These two items I really like building on the
So you
support, not on Richter, but just on support in general.
so you also like crystal tier and you're a big Requiem fan as a support.
Yeah,
But biggest thing is Riftwalkers. You like to be that guy that's getting in there, displacing people, setting up for the big CCs. I like to see that as
yeah.
a
Like
support.
my ideal KDA is like 1 and 8 and 16. So that's like I shoot for that. Just going in
Respectable.
and dying and setting up a team fight. So
Respectable. Thank you for the answer. Toasty, last but not least, what is your favorite item to build as a support and why?
Mine would be Marshall, specifically on Muriel, just because I like to be able to 1v2 the duo lane, even with M80C, and really flex on them. But I think it provides really underrated dual lane pressure and definitely team fight pressure, and especially around objectives as well. I think Marshall is a little bit slept on. If you have the right team comp for it, of course.
All right, once again, three different supports, three different perspectives on what their favorite thing is to build. So very interesting. All good answers, everybody. So I'm big fans of all the answers. All right, Wengle, take it away for the next question, buddy.
All right. So as you mentioned, Sockcap, Narbash currently has like the highest overall win rate like across pretty much all characters, or at least did for a while. But a lot of people like haven't really seen any major recent change. I think maybe he got touched this patch. I actually can't remember. But if you guys were the devs, name me one ability that you on any support in the game that you would either buff or nerf, and in what way would you do it? Something that stands out to you. What would you change about your role? Let's start with Sockcap.
I'll pick my boy Richter. I would change his E to give him a small shield or to like reapply his passive rather than it being used on his ult. Right. So just take the ult reapplying his passive and put that on the E, and keep the E the same. Just give him a little bit of movement speed, a little bit of damage, but have that ha- give him the option to run at people and gain a little bit more durability while he does that, rather than.
So
So I feel like right now where he's at, you in dual lane, you kind of have to go for like max range hooks, and those are kind of easy to dodge. Otherwise, if you like walk up in an even lane state and you like miss your hook or you don't get on top of somebody, you're just probably gonna have to blow flash or die. So it would be nice to have a little bit more durability on the E.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, needing the shield to walk in, I guess, makes sense to me. Toasty, what would your ability be to change?
Well, I think they should buff Muriel E to where if you hit an enemy with it, it would root them if they're slowed from your Q, like how they do it in Overprime. Just because I think it'd be more interesting and it would open up to a more variety of playstyles if you could use your E aggressively all the time and you had to make that decision between building yourself and your team or going for the CC. You know, that would be more interesting. Might be low OP, but the better Muriel gets, the more happy I am.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the definite risk and reward type gameplay there, and Muriel seems pretty one track mind at the minute to me. So yeah, I can see that actually being a pretty cool dynamic change. It'd be interesting to play around with, even if it wasn't live for super long.
For sure, for sure.
Boinks, what about you? What's your ability that you would change?
Mm, I wouldn't say it's the ability I'd really want to change. It's more so like a passive, like add
Okay.
on to it with phase. Like, yeah, she already provides like healing and stuff to your whoever you're linked to, but I want, in general, I just want like a character who does this, but like I want her tether to also provide like mana as well to
Hmm.
a target.
Okay.
It's
I
kind of
mean, yeah, it makes sense because the ult applies a variety of different things like ability haste, so you can link to mages, so
mm,
having the passive apply as well. But yeah, uh, no, really good answers. I mean, you guys definitely answered your own characters, which not to be to be expected, but might as well ask the mains about what's wrong with their characters. Probably the best way to do game design, or a really good way to view characters. But yeah, really cool. Gratty, over to you.
Okay, so we've gotten to know a little bit about the players, the personalities behind the supports that you guys have seen in your games. Now let's get into some educational questions so that maybe we could help out some people that are up and coming support players, people that might be interested in the support role. Because let's be honest, we don't really see a lot of good support players out there in the queue, and I would like to see a lot more of them. So, first,
Bro,
the first question that I'm gonna ask here is gonna be, what is the most common mistake you see other people make while playing support? And we can start that one with Boinks. What's the most common mistake that you see supports make?
common mistake.
hmm Just whatever comes to mind.
And I see like I don't know, like because a lot of people like I see they're just it depends on the character, but I don't know, like I see in terms of like wave management and stuff, like I see a lot of supports just taking farm from their carries when they shouldn't really be touching the wave at all. Like especially just certain points in the game, they shouldn't be touching the wave. But I don't know. I don't have a
So,
good answer for that. I don't watch a lot of supports do their thing
so you see it
personally.
very often. You see supports mismanaging waves and taking farm from their ADC.
Yeah,
Okay. And then why would that be bad? Why is mismanaging a wave and taking farm from your ADC bad? What makes that a bad thing to do?
because you are not the main character. You are trying to get your ADC ahead so that they can be, the carry of the game. They're the damage dealer, not you. And if they can't buy items to do damage, then you're putting them behind.
Okay, completely valid, and I would agree. I think I see that for support players that don't really know what they're doing. I see that pretty often. So that is a very good one. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, now sock cap. What is the most common mistake that you see supports making?
I think it comes the thing that makes me the okay, it's like if I'm playing ADC from that perspective, the thing that like irritates me the most when I'm playing with the support I don't know is passive play. Is what Wangle said earlier and what we touched upon. In my opinion, your secondary job is to keep the ADC safe. Your primary job is to create openings for your ADC. So I hardly see very many supports playing off of like wave state. So like if I was to give an example, like let's say you're playing like Decker Bellica or Muriel, any of the like caster, what I would consider caster supports, playing for like that level 2 advantage and trying to like burn down the wave quick. Um, not the first wave, but the second wave is when you get level 2. So when you burn that one down, going in with that level 2 advantage when the wave is pushing into them. So if they trade into you, they're just gonna lose that that trade completely. But just being able to recognize like when the wave is going to push into them, and then trying to play aggressive around that point, and when the wave's pushing into you, and understanding that you need to like play far back for the most for the most part, right, and try to keep your ADC safe in those circumstances and not worry about trading when the wave's pushing back into you, but reversing your kind of play style and being very very aggressive when the wave is pushing into them, I think is kind of important. I just don't see a lot of ADCs. A lot of the random ADCs that I play with, I don't, or sorry, random supports that I play with, I don't ever really see them doing those types of things. They just kind of sit back and wait for stuff to happen. So I don't know if
Okay.
that makes sense.
No, that yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's good. Thank you for your perspective on the most common mistake that supports are making. All right. Last but not least, Toasty. What is the most common mistake that you see other supports make?
I think, especially in laning phase, supports not properly managing their health bar or using their HP bar to get a lead in lane. A lot of supports will cower as soon as they take one damage and then leave their ADC out to dry. But if you can trade half your HP bar for half of the ADC HP bar, it gives your ADC such an advantage in lane, and you can kind of snowball games from there.
So would you say, in your opinion, that technically the ADC HP bar is more valuable than the support HP bar in terms of trading?
Oh, drastically. It is massively important. As far as I'm concerned, your HP bar does not matter at all. If you can get a kill for your ADC, I would sacrifice myself every time.
Okay. And honestly, now that we're on that topic, would you guys, Sockcap and Boinks, would you agree that you would trade your life for a kill on your ADC or someone else on your team as a support?
Yeah, yes. You die for their sins. That's your fucking job as the support. You die for your team's sins.
Unless I'm 10-0 Muriel carry, I'm never.
Yeah, unless you're the carry, then fuck them all.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends. I think, yeah, you always want to pretty much die if your ADC or your carry is going to get a kill, then yeah, is worth it. But like if you die to their ADC and their ADC kills the enemy support in like a 2v2 in lane, it doesn't really accomplish too much unless like the wave state is coming towards your turret, right? And he's able to hold it. But other than that, like uh, that would just kind of keep it even, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
even then, it was yeah. So
that's valid. That's another valid take on it. But it seems like it's pretty unanimous. Across the board, the supports do agree that their life in the pecking order of their team is usually the one that if someone's going to die, it should probably be the support, especially if you're trading it for something valuable, whether it be an objective or a kill. Now, that doesn't mean support lives don't matter, but that does mean supports out there. You guys got to be more willing to get in there and throw your bodies in there for the benefit of your team. So, very nice that we have that perspective coming out of our support players.
I would I don't know if I can add something to that. I would also
Sure.
say that if you die for bounty, right? Like if somebody on the enemy team has a like 5-0 and they have a bounty, if you're dying for a bounty, for your ADC. That's I would almost say like I would expect you to do that as a support player. Like you need to be doing that in that scenario. If somebody has a bounty on the enemy team, like you probably should go in suicide if you can get that kill on your ADC because that's a lot of gold. So I think it's even more important in that scenario to go die for your ADC.
Very valid. Very valid. All right, let's move on to another educational question, and then I will let you take a question away afterwards, Wangle. But the next one is going to be if you had to give a piece of advice to someone that is trying to improve as a support or wants to begin playing support, what would that piece of advice be? And it's just general advice. You don't know this person at all, but they're coming to you. They're like, hey, I know you're a really good support. What do you think I can do to be a better support? And we'll start with Sockcap for that one.
Uh, right now, I would say go watch like a support guide with like League of Legends or something. Like go watch something like that League of Legends support guide right now because right now there's no like guides or anything like that. In terms of like personal advice, I don't know. I would say depends on like what character you're playing and um I think Mugiwawa released a video the other day that was I think pretty good about like mindset and that would be maybe like trying to identify like what problem you think that you have or what's your biggest problem and focusing on that and like one character as you're trying to learn and just focusing on one or two things and then once those things become second nature I would you move on to the next but right now as far as like educational support videos I don't think there's really that much out there so I would say like no meme I would just go watch a League of Legends support guide because that I think translates not a complete one to one, but it's like fairly close to Pred with a lot of aspects of League of Legends gameplay. So
That's fair.
I don't think that would hurt.
I normally don't do this, but I do see someone in chat is mentioning that you have a support tutorial video on YouTube. Is that something that you should make or something that you do have?
Me? No, I don't have one yet. I want to make one.
Oh,
Um,
oh, he said
so
waiting.
and that's
Okay, okay.
yeah. That's my next video. So but I don't have not very far.
That's okay. Later on, we will have plenty of time for you to plug all your stuff, so that'll be where we can plug that, and people can wait for that good content to come out. So good to know. Good to know. Sockcap video on its way on how to play support. So keep your eyes peeled, everybody. All right, Boinks. What is a piece of advice that you would give to someone that's trying to improve as a support? General advice.
Mm,
Hit your hooks.
yeah, okay. Actually, speaking of that, I think it comes down to just like ability management too, and just resource management as a support. Like just trying to use your abilities at the right time, which is kind of hard to just say in a general sense, but uh
So you're saying whenever you're using your abilities, use them with like intent. Don't just throw your
well,
abilities because they're on,
yeah,
like they're
yeah.
available.
Don't just like randomly throw your abilities for no reason and stuff like that. Like use your ability. Like if you're playing Muriel, for example, like don't just be spamming the E and like right click just for the hell of it, like because then what happens when you use your E too early for no reason, and then your ADC just starts getting wailed on. You have nothing to mitigate that damage. Just small things like that, like to pay attention to.
Okay, completely valid. Good advice. All right, and then last but not least, Toasty. What general advice would you give to someone that is trying to improve as a support?
Are you going to say last but not least every time?
Yep.
Okay. Well, a few things I should say. If you're playing a support, especially like a backline support character, you should recognize which characters on your team are more valuable than others. Like you shouldn't be Muriel shielding your Xeris offlane when he's 20 feet behind the backline. You should be protecting like your carries. And essentially the opposite when you're playing like a frontline support. You should be attempting to disable their carries from dealing damage to your team, which I think a lot of people don't do because they shoot the first thing that shows up in their screen. And another one would be don't be afraid to roam. You don't have to be stuck at your ADC's hip for the entire game. You can leave the duo lane and you can go to mid. You can even go to off lane Offlaners never expect the support to show up there, and a lot of the time it turns out to be pretty easy 2v1 kills. So you can get pretty big leads just off of that.
All right, great advice from everybody. Good perspectives. We got a different bit of advice from all three people, so that's really good. All right, Wingle.
I'd like to touch on that last little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So, uh, sometimes when I play ADC, I'll start moving around the map, and my support just sits in the lane still, expecting me to come back like a dog when I go to work. But not that I have a dog, but I wish I did. But anyways, like, what kind of points in the match or things on the map are you looking at that indicate to you it's a good time to roam? Um, like, what signs do you look for before you decide to move around the map?
Having pressure in the dual lane, if you force the enemy dual lane to back, you can get free rotations to mid. When you back for your first completed item, everyone expects you to go back to the dual lane, but it's a good opportunity to run through the jungle and try to catch people out or even secure river buffs if no one's going to get there in time. There's a lot of options. As long as you're able to get to one of your carries to protect them or support them, and you're not just like in the middle of nowhere doing nothing, yeah, most rotations are going to be good.
Okay, and Boinks and Sock Cup, would you guys like to piggyback off that or add to the discussion or maybe even like argue a point that Toasty has made?
Not really. I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
that's right. No one argue my points.
All right, in that case, I'll modify it. Do you
Well,
guys have anything? Or go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're fine. I would say I get a little bit iffy about like rotating. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on who you're playing with as carry. If you're playing with like a carry that you know, because I don't like have a dedicated ADC that I queue with or play with. So I generally play with like random ADCs. But the times that I think are like pretty safe to rotate is like when you shove a wave under their turret and now the wave's pushing back, right? Because like I I don't know. I'll just say this in case people in chat don't know. Like if you shove your wave under the turret, then inherently their wave is now pushing back to your turret, right? There's nothing that they can do really to stop that from happening. It's just automatically going to push back to your turret. So if you push the wave into their turret and then you back to go by, that's like a prime time, in my opinion, to go rotate mid, try to get like a quick gank off, and if nothing comes of that, I typically just rotate back right to try to either help my ADC freeze or shove the wave if he wants to shove the wave and rotate. But um, if you're playing with a random ADC, I feel like it can be kind of scary sometimes rotating because a lot of times they just don't pay attention, they just die. So
All right, that's a valid perspective on the discussion. Thanks for asking the question, Wangle, and thanks for weighing in on it, Toasty and Sock Cap. Do you have a question that you would like to bring
Yes.
to the
All right.
discussion?
So, we've done all this educational stuff right now, and that's all fine and dandy. However, this next question is going to ruin some people's solo queue games, depending on your guys' answers. What characters that are not traditional supports do you like to play as supports, or think are underrated as support characters?
Oh God.
Let's start with Boinks, because that sounds
Oh no,
it's
we
like
already
there's an
know what she's
answer
gonna
waiting there.
say. We know what she's gonna say. Go ahead, Blinks.
I love playing my fucking mortgage support. That
Oh, lay.
Ruff.
Mortgage
Oh
support.
no.
You guys did not
All right.
mishear her. You heard it correctly. Mortgage support. Holy.
All right. I'll add a little extra bit to this question. Do you build any differently than you would on the
I,
character in their normal role?
I do. I do. I build like very memey on her. Like I do fucking breed and fucking wellspring. Just I build her. I build her like a healer because I want to see how like hard I can get her to heal when I just mark somebody and run through them. And the most I've gotten is like 600 health running through a target.
Sheesh.
It's just fun.
Jesus.
It's more funny to me than just like seriously. Like I don't know. Like sometimes I just need that uh meme game to just take my mind off of the sweat fest that usually goes on. Yeah.
Valid, valid. All right, who you asking next, Michael?
Let's go with Toasty. I feel
Uh,
like Toasty's got something cooking.
I really don't. There are no characters I like to play that aren't traditional supports in the support role. Um, I think it's super annoying and cringe when I had to play against Morgish support and my ADC is just getting one shot by abilities. It's like pretty much. I just hate that stuff. I know I can accept that characters like Howie are kind of viable, at least in the first 10 minutes of the game. But after that, it's just like I get sick of that.
We about to have some beef with the Boinks and Toasty beefing in the lane. Morgesh is too
Okay.
cringe.
Okay. Okay. Do you find it annoying because you can't deal with it early game?
Oh,
Or
I can deal with it. It's just most ADCs you play with when they get hit by a mage ability and they lose half their health in the first 20 seconds,
true.
and then they just continue to tilt off the face of the planet. It's just super annoying.
It's
Quick
all about the
question.
mind games.
Quick question. When you say most ADCs, are you talking about Lakin specifically? I need to know.
No, just casual ADC players. I think Lycan's not that dumb. He'll just avoid dying in the first 30 seconds and win at 5 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. Michael, this is still your question.
I mean, let's go to Sock Camp, the final one.
I mean, I don't know about playing like off meta supports maybe bucks, but like I wish that people would play more off meta ADCs with like the addition of like Wraith and TB is being like pretty viable going mid. I wish that we'd have like more like Bellica Richters or like Bellica Deckers or just like going like a mage um as a ADC in the duo lane with the dedicated support. I think is also kind of interesting. So,
Okay, so more of like the
but if
League
I
of Legends again with
possible,
the.
it would be Grux.
You
But yeah,
said if you had to choose one, it'd be
mean like
Grux.
I- yeah, if I choose one, it'd be Grux because
I think we might be losing
Grux
Sock
is
Cap a little
just like
bit.
a kind of like a steal sort of. Am I dying?
Yeah, I
A
think
little bit.
you might be dying a little bit. You might be good now though.
Hello?
Yeah, I think we hear you
Am I
now.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would just say a Grux for like an off meta support because you have a pool and knock up and then you have a stun removal, sort of. So you do a lot of damage too.
Mainly wanted to ask that question because someone drafted Gideon support in my scrims earlier, and I was kind of mortified by it. I've also seen some Zara support recently in scrims, so it was an interesting question for me.
Did the Gideon support duo?
What do you
Yes.
think?
I mean,
We
I've
invaded
I've
level
seen
one with
Seismic do it.
for context, we invaded level one and caused him to take E first. Now what do you think?
I mean,
That sounds horrendous.
All right, well, real quick, actually, this is a really good one, and since we're on this topic of like off-meta supports, this is something that I'm sure other people would actually be curious about, and I'm curious about what you guys think as well. And this can literally go to any of you three. We don't have to get an answer from all three of you, but if all three of you want to answer, that's fine too. But what do you three support mains think about Xeris support?
It's pretty hit or miss. If you don't like win in the early levels or win at level 6, you're just like a under leveled, under tanky off laner. And I feel like you don't really offer much other than like one maybe kind of stun and like an annoying cage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of
yeah,
those things where
I would
it
say
doesn't. Oh, go ahead, do first.
no. You go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say it's one of those things that doesn't really come online until level 6, like too well, I guess. I don't know. I don't go against it enough to really like dictate it.
Haven't really played it much yourself.
Well, I haven't gone against it. I don't want to play it. He doesn't. I don't like that character
Fair enough.
personally, but
Sockcap, you had something you wanted to say about
Yeah,
Zare support?
I agree with Boinks. I don't think you really do anything to level 6. I think that's level 6. If you ult ADC and he doesn't have flash, he's just dead probably, right? Like, but really, it's just you're just a Q and an R essentially. That's all you offer in that with that role. So
All right,
I
well,
don't really like playing it either. So
sorry, Xeris enjoyers. It seems like these support players unanimously agree a little lackluster in the support department as of right now. That could change in the future. But as of right now, today, a little on the weaker side, or maybe just something that hasn't been experimented with enough. Not enough good Xeris support play that we've seen. But overall, on the lackluster side as far as supports are concerned. So thank you for the answers. All right. Actually, this is a pretty solid one because I actually want to know what you guys think about this because I already know what my opinion is on it. But we'll start with Toasty first on this one. What do you think about the level of competition in the support role? And
Uh,
that could be people you see in casuals, people you see competitively, just in general. Like, what do you think about the level of competition in supports?
in casuals, it's not very high. I feel like most people who play support got stuck with it, like they wanted to play jungle or carry or something. But people who main support, um, it's pretty limited to maybe like 5 or 6 people that are like, oh shit, this guy's on the other team. Like this might be a game and a half, you know.
Okay,
But other
fair.
than that, it's pretty mid.
So you think not a lot of competition for supports right now?
Not really.
Okay. And then Boinks. What do you think about the level of competition in supports right now?
mm, it's not really a lot. I'd say.
Okay, valid.
I don't know. Like I only think of like a few names when I think of like a lot of like competition, but it's yeah, just a few names, not a lot of names.
No, no, and that's fine. That's
I could,
good.
I could, I could think of annoying people, but that's it.
And
That's all I can really think
well, it's
of.
more for support.
All right. And then last but not least, Mr. Sockcap. What do you think about the level of competition in the support role right now?
I agree with them. It's horrendous. I think it's the least represented role in terms of like players that actually play it well. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I would
So
agree as well. Like, there's a few standout support players, you three being among the few, but outside of that, we don't really see a lot of support love. And I'm curious what it is. Is it people find it a daunting role? Is it people just don't think it's an enjoyable role? I'm actually curious. So, I mean, anybody in the chat, if you guys have any insight as to why maybe support is the least represented role, I would be curious to see that. And then on YouTube as well, you guys can leave a comment about that because that is definitely a discussion that I would like to be a part of. All right, so the next question that I have it would be, it's gonna kind of touch on what Boyce was saying. Are there any players that you respect in your role as a support? And Sockcap, I'll let you open with that one.
yeah, Vecron, Ray, Phasma, um, switches on Richter is also really scary. Of course, these two that I'm talking with. Um, yeah, I think that like those names, especially like Vecron and Ray, um, pretty pretty scary to go against in the support role. So,
Okay, fair. Toasty, are there anybody
Um,
that you respect in the support role?
well, you gotta say Crazy Fool, the god of support. You know, even though he doesn't play the game anymore, gotta put some respect on his name. Definitely a lot of the EU players like Ray and Vecron. They're very good. I've learned a lot from Ray, especially even today.
Isn't
Oh,
Vecron NA?
yeah, he's an A.
yeah, but like Ray EU, probably the EU dev. He's got dev hacks, of course,
Yeah.
but it's more of on a competitive sense. And then like I run into people at casuals like Sockcap and Windu and Blanks, except for when she plays Morgish, then I don't respect her. But yeah, definitely those couple guys and girl.
All right, and then
Oh, and Peak. Peak when he
Peak.
plays Decker support only, because he has a serious confidence problem.
But now doesn't Pete
Confidence
just
issue.
play Xeris offlane? That's
Yeah,
like all
but
he plays, right?
he plays Decker
Before he
support
played Xeris offlane.
sometimes.
Rip the dream. It's just a Xeris player now.
All right. And last but not least, Boinks. Are there any supports that you respect as a support player yourself?
You know, I just respect all of you for even playing the fucking role. If you want me to be honest with you, like,
All right.
it's just what it comes down to. I mean, I don't have any like particular like gripes with anybody except Pete. Yeah, I know he's like watching this right now. Except Pete.
All right, and then I do have I saw Bartleby mention. I actually do have some answers from Bartleby. He wasn't able to make it to the show. He was going to be on, but he couldn't make it. But he did answer some of the questions, and I'm going to give Bartleby's answer, and he actually agrees with Tosa. He said, "Crazy Fool is who comes to mind, just because he surprises me sometimes with how good he is at landing his abilities. Every now and again, it seems like he turns on the cheats, and he just won't miss a stun, which makes the lane really hard to play, especially if I'm missing my abilities." So, Bartleby would agree. A Crazy Fool. Very, very respectable support player. Even though Crazy Fool is a predecessor hater. He's not a predecessor enjoyer right now, but very, very good support player. A lot of respect for that guy. But let's see. Oh, here's another good question. And then I can let you if you got another question, I got you, Wangle. But here's another really good question, and this one is interesting because I already know the answer to this, and I'm sure you guys already know the answer to this, but we're gonna start with Boinks. Who is the real carry in the duo lane? Go.
Support. They dictate the lane.
Of course, of
ADC just
course.
does damage.
Yep. ADCs are nothing without the support. Support's the real carry. Right, Sockeye, what would you say? Who's the real carry in the duo lane?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like pre 20 minutes, like you're the one that is making stuff happen. Then afterwards, if you've done your job right, then your ADCs are making stuff happen, and you're just trying to keep them from not being alive. So,
Okay. And then
but yeah,
oh, you had something else?
no.
Okay. And then you already know I have to say it, Toasty. Last but not least, Toasty, who's the real carry of the duo lane? The supporter or the ADC?
It's me. In whatever role I'm in,
So whichever role you are, it's just you specifically.
it's me. I run the duo lane.
Okay, so if another team saw you on the other team, it doesn't matter what role you're playing, you run the duo lane.
Yeah, actually, I don't. That's a lie. I don't play ADC. I suck.
All right, and then we do have an answer from Bartleby. So Bartleby says, "I'd argue the support. Without support, nothing can really happen in the duo lane. The carry's job is to farm and not die, and the support takes care of warding, positioning, helping manage wave state, making plays, etc. This applies mostly to laning phase until the ADC hits their power spike, but it then becomes your job to switch between peeling and playmaking." So good answer coming out from Bartleby and everyone else. I got to read Bartleby's. You guys had to come up with it on the spot, so he kind of cheated. He got a lot of time to think about his
He
answer.
probably Googled that. He had AI write that for him.
Yeah, there's no way Bartleby came up with that on his own. Surely not. Surely not. All right. But yeah, excellent answers all around. Thank you so much. All right, Wango, do you have a question you'd like to throw our way?
Yeah, I got one. I don't know how much there is in terms of answers for this, but what are kind of the dark arts of the support role? Like, what kind of things do you do to like subtly mind control your ADC, while like still having their ego stay in check and think that they're the main character, or like things like that? Like, what are the unspoken things that you do to really like control the lane without the ADC getting butt hurt?
I don't think I really have to do anything. Are just innately egotistical and think they're already winning the lane. So even when I spoon feed my ADC a double kill on the first wave, they get all the credit. But yeah, it was all me.
That's
I don't
fair.
think
Yeah.
I have an answer for that. I don't think I'd do that. I think
I,
I'd just fight
I
them.
know it's more a question aimed at Boinks and Toasty, as they have played in comp teams where they have to like play consistently with the same ADC. But like, let's say you're playing with Sock Cap #1 fan on Sparrow.
Well, I did do that one tournament with Sneaky, right? I played bronze zones like me and Sneaky and Stark.
Hmm.
So, so I don't know if I have that experience because like Sneaky's like the most chill guy ever. So if like bad stuff happens, he's just like, we'll get him next time, you know. So like I don't have to worry about that. But as far as pub games go, like I don't do that very well. I just type at them when they fuck up, and I make them more mad, and we lose. So that's how I play the game. So
That's fair. That's fair. Boinks, do you have anything to add, or shall we go on to the next question?
No, I just play with their lives. I play phase. I can play with their lives.
I had to get one of those in there. I had to get one of those in there.
Oh
Had to do
my.
it to him. Had to do it to him. All right, but yeah, we can go on to the next question, and we have a Bartle answer for this one too. So we get 4 answers. We
What
love
did
4 answers.
ChatGPT say this time?
All right, so this was actually a really good one, and I think that people learning support or getting better at support could actually learn a lot from the answers to this question. So I like this question. Is it the support's job to support the carry or to support the entire team? And I'll let Sockcap actually open with the answer for that one.
so I would say that your job is to support the carry, but the carry is a phrase that's used to describe anybody that has the potential to win you guys the game, right? So it's not always going to be. If you have an ADC that's like 0-9 and the guy like doesn't have feet and can't walk away from people running at him, then like yeah, just leave that guy to die. He's not going to be like of any use. If you've got like a mid laner or an off laner that is giga fed and is doing damage, then yeah, you focus your attention on them and keeping them alive and keeping them safe for creating openings for them. But yeah, you shouldn't ever. Uh, I think it was Boinks that was talking about um, using your abilities in lane correctly and not just like wasting them. You also don't want to like waste your abilities on somebody that's not going to have an impact on the game, right? So if you have a carry that's just feeding, just ignore them and go help somebody else. And unless it's like we're talking like the game has gone on for an hour and your carry now has 6 items, even though he's like 0-20, he's got like 400 farm. Then at that point he might be able to do something. But until that point, like yeah, focus on somebody else that can actually carry the game.
Hmm. Whoa.
Mm,
Sorry,
You
I was
could
muted.
say
I was
what?
muted. My bad. My bad. I was
Oh,
muted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was talking the whole time. Well, the whole time that it was silent. I was talking the whole time it was silent. Anyway, Boinks. Moving on to Boinks. All right. So, is it the support's job to support the carry or to support the team as a whole? What do you think?
I'd say it comes down to like, carry is important, yes, but your team is what like should be winning you the entire game at the end, typically. But I'd say it's more so like the team, but the carry is very important to like getting you that win if they are carrying. But like Sockcap said, it depends who the carry of the like team is, because it's not always the ADC. Because sometimes they just might be like feeding out of their minds, and then there's like other strong lanes like winning that you can keep ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Sock Cap and Boinks, for your answers. Very good answers, both of you. Very similar, but good nonetheless. And last but not least, Toasty. What do you think? Is the support's job to support the carry or to support the team as a whole?
I think Sockcap kind of nailed it perfectly. Like you are supposed to support your carry for the early game, but if your carry doesn't have thumbs or legs or is that guy, then standing by your mid laner who's 10-0, making sure that they stay alive in team fights is just way more valuable than kind of helping someone who's like an 0-7 Sparrow ADC.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like across the board, everyone agrees you're still helping a carry, just not the ADC. It could be the mid laner, it could be the jungler, it could be the off laner. So the support's job is not just sit in duo lane all game, right? You're looking to help whoever your win con is, and propel them forward, get them further ahead. Is that fair to say, you guys?
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
Okay, so very good answer. Very good answer. I actually have a spicy one here. But Wingle, before I hit my spicy question, if you have a question you'd like to ask, feel free.
I have a quick one that I think would be kind of interesting. So we know what your guys' like favorite characters are to play. However, I would like to know, do you have a favorite or least favorite duo to play? So not just your character, but what kind of partnership do you think is either really, really good or really, really bad to play in lane?
Talking about like a character or like a player?
Or like
Like a list of players.
a character. Listen,
Okay.
Oh no, but
not
Okay.
trying to
don't
start
bust
any
out the black
drama.
book, the blacklist. We don't want to see the sock cap blacklist of who we're dodging every time we see them in our lobby.
It's
I
not
don't
my
dodge
show. I'm not
anybody.
trying to start the beef here. Gratty wants to do that. It's on him.
Um, I would say for me, it's probably playing with like a sparrow, just because as if I'm playing Richter, which I'm normally playing Richter dual lane, I just feel like I don't really offer much for that character. I just think it doesn't really have very good synergy. So,
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Because it's favorite or least favorite. You can give either if you want.
favorite would probably be Rev or Murdoch. Say with I haven't experimented too much with Wraith yet, like post 6. Um, and I haven't gotten that timing down. I remember playing Paragon, doing like Wraith dueling, and then he just refines, and then you just hook off of it. And it's like free once you learn the timing. So that might change my opinion, but right now it's kind of or sorry, Rev and Richter or Murdoch and Richter. I think.
Valid, valid. All right, who's your next answerer here, Wingle?
Let's go to Toasty, just so he's not last and least, like Gratty makes him feel.
No, not least. Not least.
I think we all know how Gratty really sees it.
Well, that's rude. But my favorite ADC to lane with, I don't know, probably Drongo. It's just like a crazy amount of wave pressure. Um, I don't mind playing against any dual lane combo, unless it's like maybe Richter, because like whatever ADC I'm with can never dodge a Richter hook for their life of them. So it's just super annoying to play with. And it's just like you can push him into tower, but he's never like out of the game because one hook in the tower and it just kind of turns everything. It's just like that's the kind of thing that I don't like playing against.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool, cool.
And
All right.
last
And
person.
Boinks.
Mm, I think it's for me. It's TV right now. I like leaning with TV because I can get use out of him with Crystal Tier as well because he also has that like magical scaling in his kit, so he benefits from my favorite item. But
Nah.
I'm still wishing I can give mana to people. That's all I'm saying.
That would be nice. Maybe that Beta could learn a thing or two. We need a mana giving item for supports. I don't know how you would come up with that. I know you guys have the brains for it. Boinks wants an item where she can give mana to her team. So we'll get there
I
one day,
know
I'm sure.
Import just followed, so get him on it.
Hey,
Import's taking hits.
wait. If I could suggest an item that imports in here, I just want
He followed a while ago and hasn't typed, but go ahead.
I want to like a guardian item for like in league, right? Where like if you hit like a CC or something, then you have like an aura where you like emanate for like a short period of time, like a lot of resistances or tankiness, right? To your like AD or anybody in the radius.
So,
Like
so you mean a Vanguardian?
no.
Stronger
That one,
Vanguardian, I guess, maybe.
yeah. Vanguardian is like always giving resistances and an aura around you. I want like a item like Guardian where if you immobilize, kind of like Dynamo, if you immobilize a champ, it procs it and you gain like a ton of resistances for like 3 seconds or 4 seconds or something like that.
Okay.
Fair
Okay.
enough. All right, another
So
suggestion
just
for the item list.
better Vanguardian then.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right, here's a spicy question, and I do have a spicy answer from Bartledew, and I'm actually gonna start with Bartledew's answer first, and then we'll get into the other answer. So this will give you guys time to think of a better answer, cause I need some
I'm loading
content
with
here.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I need some content here. We need some spice. We need some drama. We need some spicy. We're in the kitchen right now, so we gotta cook up some, I don't know, some type of some spice for the people. That's what people are here for. People want to learn, but people also want the tea. People wanna hear other people talking shit. So anyway, what role? And I want a genuine answer out of all of you. What role do you think has the biggest egos? And Bartledew's answer is, oddly enough, supports. I don't want to name any names, but there seems to be a disproportionate amount of supports that think they are insane at the game compared to any other role. So that's Bartledew's answer. He thinks that there are a lot of support players that actually have the largest egos. So we're gonna start with honestly, Toasty. I'm gonna let you take this one away first. What role do you think has the biggest egos?
Hmm. Yeah, a part of me wants to say ADCs, but I know a lot of ADCs just get shit on 24/7, so they understand that maybe they're not the toughest people. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with junglers because it's never the jungler's fault and always the laner's fault. Looking at you, Gratty.
Okay, so we got a jungler. So we got some jungle hate. Okay, we got some jungle hate coming out. Honestly, actually, since you're being a jungle hater, you get one of these, buddy.
Oh, I can't gank your lane. You got no advantage for me. When?
No, hold on, how do you get you? More booze, more booze. We don't hate junglers.
Fuck
We
you.
we we love junglers. We love junglers. Okay, all right.
Free my boy Toasty. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
All he
I'm putting
spoke
you in
was
the
the
box.
truth.
I'm putting Toasty in the box for that one. We're not supposed to flame junglers. We're supposed to flame everybody else. But all right. So moving on to Boinks. What role do you think has the biggest egos?
Mm, I'm with you on the junglers.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the
let's go.
what the hell?
what the hell?
I don't know. I
Oh
mean,
my God! No way!
I'm like the worst person to ask because I don't talk to anybody. I don't pay attention to what other people do or like say.
What the heck is
But
with all the
but
jungle hate?
for the most part, I've just been. It's always these junglers who think they're the fucking main character.
That's crazy. I hear gank my lane, please. Gank my lane. They're standing on my tower line. I'm getting dove
Honestly,
underneath my
Gratty,
tower.
you talking that way just proves their point.
Yeah,
Gank my
confirmed.
lane. I need help. Help me. Oh yeah, I'm doing my 4 camp. All right, I'll get to you when I get to you. All right. How about that?
You're not beating the allegations, Gratty.
I'll get over there when I feel like it. All right. Last but not least, sock cap. What's your take? Let's. I hope it's not junglers. What role
I got you.
do you think
I
has the
got your
biggest
back,
egos?
buddy.
Say
I think it's. I don't know. I would say maybe ADC. I think
ADC.
ADC. I think ADC players get really, really angry about a lot of stuff. So I would say as the skill level goes up, as the elo goes up, there's less of that. When I listen, I got like 6 accounts because I'm a psychopath, and anytime I start a new account, and like I hear some wild shit in those games. Those people flame each other like nonstop. It doesn't matter what role it is. They're all like thinking that they're in the right and nobody else is in the wrong. But so I think it gets better as people improve. But yeah, I feel like ADCs for sure. I don't think it's junglers.
if we're
At least
talking
I
about if we're talking about angriest roles, it's definitely mid laners because they've lost their mental when they got ganked 300 times in the first five
They have
minutes.
every right to be angry though.
I've never
So
seen angrier people than mid laners.
I never
Yeah.
answer my own questions, but all this nonsense I'm seeing in my chat right now, I have to say something. So Chatty Gratty actually is going to answer one of his own questions. And I have to say, mid laners by far, and I know you guys know who you
Whoa,
are,
whoa,
mid
whoa.
laners have the biggest egos, and that is
Whoa,
just the
whoa,
facts.
whoa.
Like,
I'm gonna have
oh,
to step in
why aren't
here.
you here for my river buff? It's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I just can't get rivers. I'm under my tower. I'm getting shoved. Look at this guy living on my tower. Where's my help? I'm getting ganked. It's like your teammates are doing stuff on the map. Nobody cares if you're getting ganked in your lane.
I'm gonna
Buddy's
have to
over
step
here.
in here.
No, hold on,
I'm
hold
hearing
on, hold
too
on.
much
I'll give
hate.
you your time.
You're
I'll give you your
really coming
time.
out here.
I'll
No,
give you your
you're really
time.
coming out here and taking over your own show.
Oh,
Not
yes, I
meant
am,
for
buddy.
you.
I'm
You're
the
the
main
host. You're
character.
not the
I'm the main
answerer.
character. It's me. It's
See?
me.
Oh,
It's
you're
Because
just
me.
proving it now, buddy. You're really taking over, just like you do in the games. It's always about you.
No, but I can't tell you how many times I look at my mid laner. They're ego boxing on tower line. They get rotated on by the support and the jungler, and they're like, "Oh my God, jungle diff!" It's like, buddy, you're literally one v
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
inside their tower line. You just took 3 tower shots, and you're dead because you're in their tower. You burned all your cooldowns. You only flashed on them to try to get the solo kill. Like, what the hell? You're playing Faye. You don't even have an escape. How are you supposed to get out of that? I can't with mid laners, man. I can't with mid laners. I can't.
Mhm,
I can't. All right,
mhm.
anyway, Wangle, what beef you trying to start here, Mr. Wangle? What beef you
Hey,
got?
I'm not starting any beef. You're just proving everyone's point. All the chat knows it. It's not about me. It's not. This show's for the supports. I'm just here to support them through the jungle slander that's going on right here.
Hold on a second. Hold
Point.
on a
Hey,
second. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Empty. Empty has some. Empty has some. Go ahead, Sockcap. I'll pull it up while you're talking. What do you got, Sockcap?
hey, just ask Bartleby. Well, you don't have to ask Bartleby because he can't hear me. Bartleby, who you talking about? You DM me, buddy. Okay, you talking? You got my name in your mouth? Is that what you're talking about? Who you referring to? Okay, I want a list.
A list of the biggest ego supports. We need the list from Bartleby.
Yeah,
Tier list of who
yeah,
has the biggest egos in support.
yeah.
Sockcap number one.
No. I'm dog shit. So
No, I'm just trolling. All right, we have a secret. We have a
I'm gonna
secret.
need a. I'm
What?
gonna need a Arakadu's dodge list for predecessor. I'm gonna need the dodge list V2 to come out,
We have a private
color
DM.
coded and everything.
Private DM from Empty. Catching Reaper in 4K. In 4K. Mid laner in 4K with how big his ego is. Holy. We got the proof.
oh
The
shit.
proof. And this is 4K. This is 4K. Look at him.
Wait,
I'm going 2-6 and I'm blaming my team for me losing a scrim.
what the hell
Holy.
is
Main
this? This
character.
is
Main
this is mid
character.
on mid violence. Mid
Whoa,
lane on mid lane
if this
violence.
isn't some
This is
main
out of
character
pocket.
ass shit that I've ever seen, but he's out here playing, oh yo, let me get Murdoch mid, let me get, oh whoa, why am I getting ganked? Whoa, why is there a rampage rocking me under my tower? I keep dying. Yeah, buddy, you're playing Murdoch mid, okay? And you're not doing a very good job of it. Alright?
This is
Main
this is
characters, I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
empty. This is against your best interests.
Yeah.
You're just bringing all of us down.
Yeah,
He's,
so
he's
mid
stirring the
on mid
pot.
Actually,
mid on
this
mid
is
violence.
actually this is why we call it Soul Reaper syndrome. It's not about the mid laners. It's about him.
Holy. Okay, that was some good stuff. All right, but that does it for me for questions. Do you still have a question that you would like to ask here, Wingo?
Um, I have some questions I'd like to ask you, but no, not in regard to supports. So we
Okay.
can move on.
Well, we want to try not to take too much time. So what? We got more spicy questions? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I'm not trying to ask anything here live anymore.
Oh.
We'll settle it behind closed doors. But you know, back to the supports. Staying on talk, staying on topic.
Okay. So, Boinks, Sockcap, Toasty. Do you all have anything that you would like to bring to the discussion, especially since we've already mentioned it? Supports are very poorly represented in the community. So, is there anything that any of you would like to say, or anything you would like to bring up as a topic of discussion?
Hmm.
I would just say that anybody that's aspiring to play support is to just seek out a support player. Any of the three people here, I think all three of us stream, um, or any of the names that were mentioned earlier when Gratty and Wangle asked us about the support players that we respect, and just watch them and ask questions. I think is the best way to go about it.
All
All I
right.
would like to say. So I
Okay.
hope that people do that. Because we need better. We need more people playing support and not just running it or being like just playing steal and sitting like 20 feet behind their carry, being like doing nothing. Don't even pick support if you're gonna do that. Okay, so we need more people to get educated and get better at the role and to take it to new heights. Okay, I believe in us. That's all I gotta say.
So
Another thing
Sokka,
might be to watch. Sorry, but another thing might be to watch ADC players and ask them what they would want from their support. Because I know
True.
Lakin has nothing, a lot to say about what he wants his support to be doing 24/7. And since not a lot of support players are actively streaming the role all the time, and there's a lot of ADC players, that might be somewhere to go.
I think that's also really solid advice, Toasty. Absolutely.
oh, so heartfelt. We love when the support each other. So it's so good. All right. Do you have
They're
anything
really
that you
living up to the name.
do you have anything that you would like to add, Boinks? If you do not, that is absolutely okay.
Not really.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now I will be taking some questions from the chat, and it can be at everybody as a whole, or it can be at one specific person, whether that be Boinks or Sockcap or Toasty. All right, and the first one I'll ask, I already saw Jay asking it, and it looks like it was at all three of you together. So, who is your favorite ADC to play with? And I will start with Toasty. Who's your favorite ADC player? The player themselves, not the character. Favorite ADC to play with?
Um, I'd say Lakin just because we play a lot together, but I also want to shout out to Jay because I like playing support with Jay because he's so inconsistent and I get to flame him half the time, but I also get to congratulate him half the time.
Okay, so you can't decide if you want to flame him or congratulate him for making a good play. So Jay is Toasty's answer. All right, what about you, Boinks? Who's your favorite ADC to play with?
I actually like playing with Neft a lot. That's my favorite ADC.
Okay,
He
good.
came back to my region.
Yeah,
Get your hands off of him.
no, I'm taking him back. I'm coming to EO.
All right, and then Sockcap, last but not least. Who's your favorite ADC to play with?
Uh, I like playing with my boy Sneaky. So
Oh,
just
love for
always
Sneaky.
and also I will say another person that nobody ever talks about is B More. B More is really good ADC. So I like playing with him as well.
All
I'll
right,
give him a shout out.
shout out Sneaky, shout out Be More. Sockcap likes playing with both of you. All right, so next question from Bry in chat. He says, "Is it troll?" Wait, hold on. Let me see if is Moon Boots troll for most supports, and that can go to any of you guys.
Um, I think it's
I
not
hope
very
Shift
great.
AC is not here.
I think it's not very great on every support. I think it's really good on certain supports. It can definitely be picked up on every role, but whether or not you get value out of it is hit or miss. Like FaZe gets big value out of Moon Boots, but Muriel, not so much.
I kind of see it as an item. Like this is talking for characters who don't make the best use out of it. I guess like the best use out of like an immobile character per se, like just jumping over like one of the walls or something, for example, like just to escape. Like it's useful in that aspect, but it's not an item that I would typically go for in every character.
Fair enough. Sockcap, do you have any input you'd like to give on that? Moon Boots as a
Yeah,
support.
I'd say as far as supports go, probably like FaZe, Richter, Steel. I don't really build a Richter that much, but I could see building on like FaZe, Richter, Steel, maybe Velka support just for rotations and being able to kind of get out of situations because you are kind of immobile. But for Steel and Richter, I would say more so being able to like go over walls, right? You know, able to kind of
Yeah,
opening up avenues on how to approach for like ganks specifically.
Okay,
yeah. Like actually, I want to add one more thing to that. I
sure.
think what's very like, I guess the another big like valued part of the item is the movement speed you get out of combat for like rotating. That's really nice.
Okay, valid.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
A solid item, not a must buy, not something that you should look to get every single game on every character, but a solid item that offers good utility for particular sports, especially immobile ones. All right, sounds good. I had another question that I actually thought was a fairly good question. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. Um, okay, so Octane JB says, as a support, when do you give solo XP versus shared? It's like when do you? I'm getting rickrolled by Haru on stream. All right, when do you stop sharing support or stop sharing XP with your ADC, or when do you start giving them solo XP? And any of you guys can take that away.
I don't. I don't know. Go ahead, Toasty.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think if you feel confident that your ADC is not gonna immediately evaporate as soon as you leave lane, you can give them a few waves to themselves when you can just go rotate and take your experience or your lead elsewhere. But unfortunately, most of the time your ADC is not capable of surviving by themselves because they're just a baby, and they had to sit there with you for over half the game.
Fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say like like team fight stage of the game, or like like laning phase of the game. Like probably you don't want to ever give them solo XP unless like you're going for a roam, like what we talked about earlier. Like if you shove the wave in and you and the ADC have backed, then yeah, like go for a roam mid or something. The wave's gonna push back to turret. He's gonna catch it and he's gonna be safe because he's in front of his turret. But like other than that, I don't think you do it until kind of the second half of the game where you're more in the late game team fight stage of the game, and then yeah, you can kind of like leave him alone as long as what Toasty said. He's like careful and he's not just like running up lane and dying instantly. So
Okay. Fair enough. Books, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I pretty much said it.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so let's see if I can find. We'll try to do. We'll do two more, so that way we can wrap this up. We can get everybody out of
Good
here.
luck.
Um, there's so many meme questions. I can't even. I can't. I can't. I
I've
can't.
been trying to find one, bro.
Oh
Trust
my
me.
God. Those of you guys on YouTube that are, you guys gotta pull up live for the next episode, because chat gets kind of wild with some of their questions, and I'm sure we could figure something out for the meme questions. I know that there would be a spot for the meme questions. I can't. These are actually not. They're not useful. They're so like, oh, this just shows me. Okay, this shows me the mid fucking what's it called? The mid
Don't get don't you
main
get started
character.
again.
Yeah, the mids
Don't you
being
get
main
started. We're
characters in
moving.
my
No, no, no,
chat.
no, no. Shut up. We're moving on.
Mids
Find your
being main
question for
characters
your
in my chat.
podcast. Okay, man. Don't get started again. I'm here to wrangle you.
Uh, okay. I guess we can ask. We'll do this as the last question. I'll do this as the last one. All right, Bry. Another question from Bry. In your opinion, who is the best Decker player? And we'll start with Toasty. Who's the best Decker? Go.
Not me, that's for sure.
Oh, humility, Mr. Humble.
Maybe I don't know. It's hard to know. I haven't really seen a lot of people play Decker. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say Peak when he plays Decker and he's not like completely out of it.
Okay, so we got one peak. All right, Boinks, best Decker. Go.
I think that character should just be burned and nerfed to the ground. Next question.
So Boink says that character's broken and anybody can play it. So if you're good with it, you're not special. Okay, Sockcap, best Decker. Go.
it's definitely not Simba. It's gotta be it's gotta be. I think it's Vecron. Vecron is I think definitely the most disgusting Decker that I've ever seen. So
Okay.
and he doesn't even play the game
Fair
anymore.
enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, everybody, if you guys wanna plug your socials, we'll go top to bottom. If you wanna plug, YouTube, Twitch channel, social media, if you use social media, any social medias then feel free to do so. We can even put it in the chat if you guys want to type in the chat. I can. I think I probably have to permit you, but I'll do next
I
week. Oh, go ahead, Sock.
I DM'd you the link to that
Oh, I played
video.
it. I played it.
Okay, that's all I want. Hey, if people watch that video, that's great. Like I said before, I spent like 2 hours on my last video. It got like 3K views. And the one I actually spent like 2 weeks gathering footage for, it's got like 700 views. I'm still mad about it. I'm ass mad about it. So
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start plugging everybody's Twitch channels. Everybody that's here tonight, everybody's Twitch channels. But Boinks, do you have anything that you would like to, anything you'd like to plug here?
No, just Twitch. It's fine.
All right. So Boinks is a great support player. She streams fairly regularly on Twitch. I'm gonna go ahead and be plugging her Twitch here in just a moment. I'm trying to get everybody's Twitches at the same time so that way I can just put them all out. But twitch.tv/boinks underscore underscore. And then, whoa. I heard myself on Toasty stream. All right. Toasty, anything you'd like to plug? I know you were here last week, but anything you'd like to plug?
Twitch.tv/Lakeinator to see how hard my job actually is.
All right. I got sock caps coming in as well. Anything you'd like to plug, sock cap?
just that video. You don't even need to put my Twitch in there. Just put that
Oh,
video in there.
no, I got you. We got
Desperate.
all of our wonderful
People watch.
supports. I'll make sure I put at least their Twitch channels in the YouTube description as well, so that way you know where to find all of them. They all stream fairly regularly, so you can catch them on Twitch if you guys want to see some great support gameplay. Thank all of you once again for coming out to the show. Thank you, Boinks. Thank you, Sockcap. Thank you, Toasty, for being guests. Thank you, Wengle, for being last minute co-host. Is there anything that you would like to plug, Mr. Wengle?
I'd like to plug the fact that everyone knows that junglers are fucking egotistical.
No way, I let you plug and you slander some more, man. That's
I
outrageous
don't have
to me.
anything to plug. I haven't streamed since I got to EU.
All right, well, we may have Wengle come back on a future episode of Chatty Gratty, maybe be a co-host, maybe next week. Next week is the mid lane episode. Next week mid lane episode. Maybe we have Wengle. Maybe we
You
get
guys
empty.
should
Maybe we
follow
get
my
seismic.
Twitch, and I'll do a chatty wangle and totally one up this podcast.
Actually, next week's episode is gonna be titled "The Main Characters / Mid Lane," episode 3. So we actually get to talk to all the main characters firsthand. So make sure you guys pull up for the next episode. Well, anyway, like I said, thank you, Boinks. Thank you, Sockcap. Thank you, Toasty. Thank you all for showing up to the show. It was a pleasure to have all of you. I hope you guys had fun. If you guys have any feedback for me, I have a channel right above this channel where you guys can leave any feedback for future shows. I would really appreciate it if you guys did. Um, but yeah, other than that, you guys are free to go. We are done here.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me. And Toasty and Boinks, it was good talking to you guys. And obviously Wangle, it's good talking to you, even though you're a trader over there in Europe. But good
Hey, yeah,
talking to
yeah,
you guys.
yeah, yeah. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
I'm only a trader until I'm home.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought you were European.
No, I'm
So
fucking. What? I literally only moved here after I graduated high school.
I know, I'm just saying when I like after testing, I think I had played with you in testing and I was like, this guy's European as hell. I didn't even know you were anything. So
I think when I was in testing, I was still in NA.
I don't know. Something about you just comes off as European.
There's
I don't know,
something.
bro.
I feel like I'm being insulted here, man. Holy.
All right.
Anyway, I love you guys. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for your comments, Sockcap. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go to my EU bedtime.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah, you
late
go
here.
get your sleep, you traitor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my beauty sleep.
All right, Boinks Toasty. You both have a great night. Thanks again for coming.
Have a good night.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming in for episode 2 supports. We covered the supports. I know that my image here wasn't updated. It's the same image as last week, but I will try to make sure I have a better image, or not better image. It's a great image. A new image, updated image for next week. When we do episode 3, mid laners, I will be contacting the people that I would like to get on the show and see what kind of lineup we can get for next week. If you guys have anything that you would like to add or any type of feedback, feel free to DM me on Discord or find me. You guys can join the Toaster Discord. That's where we host Chatty Gratty currently. Also, you guys can put in the YouTube comments when this goes on YouTube. If you guys have anything that you would like to add to the discussion or just any feedback that you have for me, positive or negative, please feel free to put that there in the comments. Like I said, you can DM me on Discord. I'm open for that. And then also YouTube comments is a place that I read or something that I read. So I'm happy for that too. Also, those of you on YouTube, if you have any questions, if you guys made it this far in the video, and you have any questions that you may like for me to ask the mid laners next week, please let me know. Maybe I can add some questions in there straight from the YouTube comments. But other than that, as always, I am Chatty Gratty. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did in this episode. Potentially, we may do that, Natty. Potentially, once we get past all the roles. So, upcoming, we have next Thursday at 9 Eastern, Midlanders, Episode 3. Episode 4 is going to be Junglers. That will be the following Thursday, 9 Eastern. And then, last but not least, we have our offlaners after the Jungle episode. Same thing, Thursday, 9 EST. So, that's where you can catch Chatty Gratty. Every week, Thursday, 9 EST.